Because what else defines us as magical workers other than pumpkins? Hi, I'm Annie. Welcome back to my channel, Grumpy Old Crone, because I am in fact a crone and I'm often quite grumpy. I'm particularly grumpy today, actually, so, you know, yay. First of all, the non-grumpy bit is I would like to say thank you to everybody who has clicked subscribe and liked and commented, even the people who were slightly offended at my last video, my last reaction video. Sorry, not sorry. So yeah, it's great to have you along for the ride. Thank you very much. The witchy aesthetics, okay. The witchy aesthetics. I'm sitting here and I've turned off my fan because I'm filming, and my fan just blows into my microphone the whole time and makes my whole desk vibrate slightly. So I've turned it off. But here in England, it's quite warm. Now, I know everybody who's currently suffering through a vast, huge and horrendous heat wave in the States is pointing and laughing at us. But I should first of all say that in the UK, there are two very important things to remember. First of all, our infrastructure is not built for heat, okay? Air conditioning is going to Sainsbury's and standing in front of the ice cream freezer thing. We don't have air conditioning, or very few of us have air conditioning, so we just have to put up with being hot. And secondly, we're English. We're not built for extreme temperatures. We are in fact built for one temperature, and that temperature is mild. Okay, if you've never spoken to an English person, then maybe you don't know what mild means. But what mild means is non-offensive, and there is in fact about a 2-degree variation in the heat and humidity that allows for weather to be mild. Not too cold, not too hot, not too sunny, little bit overcast with sunny intervals and a gentle breeze. That is what English people are built for, and that is not what we're having right now. Now, I'm not complaining, because I complained all last summer about the rain. I really, really hated it. So I'm quite glad we've got a bit of nice weather. It's very nice. But when I turn off my little fan, I get quite hot. And this kind of brings me to the witchy aesthetic thing, is how to dress in a witchy aesthetic when it is in fact hotter than the surface of the sun outside. And, you know, that's a bit of a challenge for everybody, I feel. I know how to dress in a lovely witchy aesthetic in the winter. Layers, I say, many, many layers. Same with autumn, layers and orange. And the same in spring, layers and yellow. So, you know, I've got it pretty much sussed. Summer, I don't know. I just melt. So, what I have resorted to is making my own clothes, because I just can't find things. The older I get, the fussier I get, I find. And I'm finally understanding my dear late departed mum, who was a seamstress extraordinaire, who made all of her own clothes. And now I understand it's because she probably couldn't find anything in the bloody shops that she actually liked. And that's kind of where I am now. I particularly don't like artificial fibres. It's not biblical. It's because there is a thing in Leviticus, isn't there, about mixing fibres. It's not that. But it is in fact because they make me sweat, and I'm postmenopausal, and honestly it doesn't take much to make me sweat, so I try to not have too much of that going on if I can possibly avoid it. So I have taken to dressing entirely in linen, which, as you will know, if you've ever tried to buy natural fibres in this country, is not very cheap. So what I'm doing these days is I'm buying a lot at fabric sales and I'm making my own clothes. This has turned me into what I can only term as an inveterate hem flipper. So whenever I look at other clothes, when I go to a shop and I look at clothes, I flip the hem, look at them and go, well, that's not very well made, is it? And then walk out without buying it. But then I go home and I do make things. I'm wearing, I do think this top is a bit more spring than summer, but you know, hey ho. So everything at the moment is I'm just living and dying in linen because it's quite warm. But it kind of brings me to that whole point of, you know, how to dress in a witchy aesthetic when it is hot. And the thing I really think that you need to ask yourself is, has there ever in the history of all mankind been a style of clothing that is so gorgeous that it is worth being hot, stuffy, constrained, sweaty, uncomfortable and miserable whilst wearing it? And I think the answer to that is no. No, it is not worth being all of those horrible, uncomfortable things in order to look a particular way. Now, I understand if you really, really want to tell people that, you know, I've got a really weird, unearthly vibe, look at my asymmetrical hem, or whatever it might be. I'm a big fan of an asymmetrical hem, don't get me wrong. But still, I understand that you want to tell everybody that. But if you're defining your entire personality by how you dress, then you've got a bit of a problem, haven't you? You know, let's do some work on your ego. Your clothes are not you. They're fun. They're sometimes too tight, particularly after lockdown. Everything got quite tight after lockdown. But it's not you. Wear what you bloody like. And in this weather, for me, lots of linen in weird colours. That's pretty much where I'm going from, because I'm buying whatever linen I can, whatever's cheap, kind of weird. Hence, odd green top. I don't mind. I'm comfortable-ish. I'd be more comfortable if my fan was on, but then you couldn't hear me because it'd be like this the whole time. Not good. Not good. But it does kind of bring me round to another aesthetic question which has been on my mind greatly recently, and that is, if you want to dress in that kind of like weird, unearthly, witchy, you know how I feel about the word witchy, don't you? But still, we're going to use it. Witchy style, and you happen to not identify as a woman, you know? And we're not going to get into gender politics here, because yes, I will argue with you, and yes, I do have opinions about it, and my opinions are identify in any way that makes you happy. Okay, because the world needs more happiness and needs less people sneering. Try saying that after a drink. So yeah, don't take me on that. Just if that's your hill you're going to die on, just unsubscribe and fuck off now, because no, it's not happening. Anyway, the point being that people who identify as chaps, blokes, men, people of the male persuasion, what is there out there in the fashion world for them to dress as if they want to be a bit weird, mystical and unearthly? I mean, does it go any further than a black t-shirt with a green man on it? I mean, don't get me wrong, I like black t-shirts. I've got a lot of them myself, and I do have some that have green men on. One particularly fine one which was designed for me by my best friend Lisa. But still, I feel fashion has gone a bit beyond that. And why, in today's day and age, when we can dress women in the most splendidly odd, out there things, are we still expecting men to be satisfied with a pair of trousers and a shirt with a design on it? Can we not do better? So, if you're out there watching this, this is my challenge to you. If you're out there watching this and you identify as a man, or you love somebody who identifies as a man, or you have a child or a father, you know, if you know what I'm coming from, yeah, if you have an informed opinion about this, can you think of some kind of clothing that you think should be out there for the blokes among us, the witchy blokes among us? I feel they deserve better than a slightly boring t-shirt and a pair of trousers. So do feel free in the comments to leave suggestions, maybe even links to pictures that we could look at, and we can have a nice discussion about alternative fashion choices. So there we go. So now we're going to come to the meat and two potatoes of today. I'm going to have to apologise for this, because it's been a slightly challenging day, to the point where I've had to have a very big cup of tea in my grumpy old Crone mug. It's a very good cup of tea. I will be coming back to it. Now, today, I mean, actually, strictly speaking, this subject has wound me up so much that probably I could have put a whiskey in that and it probably would have been quite a good idea. So, here's where we're coming from, okay? And I apologise for anything I might do to the microphone during the course of this video. So, I'm an inveterate user of Facebook, okay? I'm on there a lot, far too much, bit addicted, ought to break that habit, but still. So, I am typically the kind of person that Facebook likes to advertise to. And sometimes they get it right. Often they don't. I do have endless repetitive ads for Temu tarot cards. Not fucking buying those. But recently it decided that the thing I needed to look at, and I can only blame this channel for this. It has to be this channel. So the thing that it decided to advertise to me was the Witch's Book of Shadows colouring book. Colouring book. I mean, I had to click on it because I didn't actually believe this was real. I thought it was a parody site. Why would I think that? But I did. I did think it was a parody site, so I clicked through it. Now, first of all, I've got to do a little disclaimer here first. Now, I'm sure I'm not going to name check the lady who's done this because, well, yeah, maybe she does deserve my hate. I don't know. I'm torn about whether I should name her or not. We'll call her Jane Doe for now, okay? But you know, if you want to go and Google, you can probably find her. She has got a whole selection of witchy colouring books, most of which have the word Book of Shadows or Grimoire somewhere in their title. Now, if you've watched some of my previous videos, you'll know that I've got an opinion about Books of Shadows. The really brief version, you know, the TLDR version is they're great if you use them for yourself. If what you want to do is an arts and crafts project, then maybe a scrapbook about your family holiday would be more appropriate than a Book of Shadows, okay? It's meant to be a working book. Just, there's no amount of washi tape is going to make that anything other than it is. And so I looked at this and I clicked through. Now, as we go through this conversation, I'm going to put up a few screen grabs of this thing that you put up there. Now, the reason I said I'm kind of in two minds about name checking her is because, you know, it's art. She's making original art, and I really admire that. You know, art is art. It should absolutely happen. And I'm very pleased people are out there making it happen. Hurrah! And I'm glad that she's found a way to sell it. Because gods only know that you really have to struggle to make a living as an artist in the world today. That's not an easy thing. And speaking as a full-time musician, yeah, I kind of know where that one comes from. So in that sense, I do have admiration for her, for what she's managed to do and how she's managed to forge that into a career. On the other hand, this is, well, it's just shit. It's just unadulterated, pure, reductive bullshit. Okay, marketing, a fucking colouring book. You're not even encouraging people to draw their own shitty pictures. Okay, you are giving them pictures to colour in, which you are then expecting them to use as some kind of reference for their higher magical workings. No, you don't do higher magical workings with a box of fucking Crayola. Okay? Yeah. So she's got a whole range of these. A whole range. I looked them up. I wrote a couple of them down just in case my mind blotted it out like an appalling episode of PTSD. So she has a tarot journal, a colour-in tarot journal. So as you're learning the 78 cards of the tarot, presumably there are 78 pictures. So, you can colour in the priestess's crown or the high priest's eternity symbol in different colours. Because fuck only knows it's not as if Pamela Coleman Smith actually drew them those colours for a fucking reason, is it? No. It's not like modern tarot designers actually care about how they do these things, and colour is one of the main ways that they communicate the symbology. No. So no. Tarot journal, colour it whatever the fuck you like. Pink devil. What could possibly be wrong with that? And then we get onto the Green Witch Herbal. The Green Witch Herbal. And now, more tea required here. So, the Green Witch Herbal. Now, the use of the word herbal would make one think, I mean, things like Culpeper's Herbal, they were reference books. Do you honestly think somebody who's trying to get into the incredibly complicated world of herbal magical correspondences and herbal healing is going to use a colouring book as their primary source of referential material? Now, I'm not a herbalist. I don't claim to be a herbalist. I have a very good friend who is. She's amazing. She's a lecturer on a course, astounding woman. And she's written books, and I have bought those. I will use those. They are written by a qualified herbalist with a lot of detail, proper pictures, photographs, correspondences, details. Just they're quite. There's a lot of information in those. I have got behind me a whole shelf of. My voice is going up. A whole shelf of books, all of which I still don't believe qualifies me to be a herbalist. And yet, if you colour in this book, you will spontaneously know something about herbalism. And if you look at the what's the word? Reviews. If you look at the reviews on Amazon, that's exactly what people are expecting to use it for. They say, it's going to, as I colour in these pictures, it's going to make such a vast difference to my herbal knowledge. No, it won't. It will teach you that you probably don't have enough shades of green in your felt tip pen set. Sharon. Okay, I've nothing against the name Sharon, but still, Tracy, Bob, whatever. No, just... And then moving on, we've got the Witch Life colouring book, which, as far as I can tell, has just got like moon phases and not even correspondences. I don't know what I can't remember what the fuck has it. Lots of pictures of cauldrons, maybe. I don't know, maybe. For people to colour in. Because what colour do you colour a cauldron? Purple, green, pink, yellow. I don't know. Fucking black. Do you just run out? I mean, when I was ranting about this to my husband, he did say that if it's a properly witchy colouring book, the only felt tip pen you'd need would be black, and more fucking black. Sorry. Then we have the Season of the Witch colouring book, which is apparently, like the previous ones, only with pumpkins. Because what else defines us as magical workers other than pumpkins? Just fucking bollocks shit. So yes, shit. It is all shit. She's got others as well, and I was kind of starting to lose the will to live by this point. She had a kitchen witch one, which had room to write your own recipes, because, yeah, why wouldn't you? And a lot of pictures of spoons, and the occasional cauldron, and some herbs. And this is what you're going to add into your grimoire, apparently. Into your book of shadows. You're going to colour it in, cut it out, and stick it into your book of shadows, so that you can always remember the lovely job you made of colouring in between the lines on your colouring book of shadows. The reductiveness of this bullshit takes my breath away. Done properly, magic can change the world. Intention can change the world. Done properly, colouring fills in a book and uses some colours. How are these two things different? I wonder. It's just, it really is. It really is beyond shit. And I, it was kind of like the last straw today. Now, I'm going to give you my positive bit jingle because, I did it, so why not? But today was a day. Let's just say that. And colouring books were the last straw for me. If you feel tempted to buy a colouring book and colour it in, great. I think it's fabulous. I do in fact own one. I have conflicted feelings about it, because when I was trying to colour in the very tiny little flowers, I realised that my sight was not as good as I thought it was, and I needed close range glasses or varifocals. And then I started realising I was getting old. So I have mixed feelings about my own colouring book experience, but I bought it at a point in my life when there was a lot of shit going on, and I just wanted to do something pretty that required no mental brain power at all. So I did it, and it was fine, and it was quite nice, and I enjoyed that. I think it was the Enchanted Forest one, I think. Can't even remember who did it, but it was quite pretty and I quite enjoyed it. That was fine. I only did about 4 or 5 of them before I realised it was quite boring and did something else instead. But still, if you want to buy the witchy bollocks book of colouring shadows grimoire bullshit, that's absolutely fine. But colour it in and don't imagine that there's anything mystical about colouring in. Okay? There's a reason we get kids to do it. And as adults, the only reason to do it is to feel calm, centred and happy. It is not to mystically learn the art of spellcraft. Okay? So, the positive bit. Here comes the positive bit. Right. So, the positive bit for today. Well, I did a lot of thinking today. And I couldn't find a fucking positive bit for today. Do you ever have one of those days that's just like a shit day? Okay, so I'm self-employed, and today two of my clients claimed that somehow miraculously my invoices had been lost in their system and therefore wouldn't be paid until next month, because obviously I didn't need to eat this month at all, obviously. So that was nice. And then I had one of the financial people arguing on the phone with me, patronising me. She sounded about 12 and I was not 12 and have danced this fucking dance before, and she just patronised me, and I was not in the mood to be patronised by somebody who didn't know their own job. So I was quite cross about that. That took me all morning. Today was meant to have been a day off, and that took me all morning to deal with. And then I had to help my daughter start to move out, which is making me quite sad because my daughter's brilliant and I love her living with us, and she's moving in with the love of her life, who is also brilliant. So I can't be annoyed about it, but I am quite sad that she's going. So we did that, and as we were driving to her new house, some cockwomble little boy racer in one of those little flat cars, you know the cars that aren't like normal cars, they look like somebody sat on them, decided that he was going to attempt to take out my car, which is built like a fucking crisp box on wheels, to try and take it out, because I happen to understand how roundabouts worked and he didn't. So just, yeah, I was very cross about that. And then he smirked at me. And he looked about 24 and he smirked. I tell you, if he'd unlocked his door, I'd have got out and I'd fucking smashed his face in. The kind of day I was having. So yes, that was not good. Came home, burnt some of the stir fry we were having. Discovered that I didn't have the right insurance for something that I want to do later on this month. Was worried that I might have forgotten the MOT for the car. If you don't know what an MOT on a car is, and you don't know why people who have slightly older cars get stressed about that, just Google it. If you live in the UK, you'll understand. And then I fell into a rabbit hole of trying to organise more paperwork all this evening. And because I did that, I missed Heilung at Glastonbury on iPlayer. I'm really hoping they have it on catch up. I am just fed up, and I'm hot, and my hair needs dyeing, and I just don't have enough money for next month, and it's not my fault because I've done all the work, and I'm just cranky. Cranky. There is no positive bit. Nothing's positive. Cranky. Sorry. I'll try to do better next time. Today was not a good day. If you wonder if your moods change when you have a menopause, and you become a crone, yes, is the answer. Yes, you do get a lot grumpier. Things do wind you up. I am frankly astonished that more women are not in jail for assaulting young boys in cars who make smirky hand gestures through their window after they've cut you up on roundabouts. Maybe it's because the young men have learned to lock their doors. I don't know. I was really tempted. So yeah, there we go. That's it for today. Cranky. Grumpy old crone is grumpy. It makes up for the one when I was talking about tattoos a couple of weeks ago when I was really happy. All of the grump landed today. There we go. So, sorry about that. Ah!